Atletico Ottawa heads into 2025 off the back of a very successful year in 2024. And yes, for some people and supporters, it might be a disappointment or a failure to not win silverware or bring home trophies with this so-called CPL super team. But for me, it was a successful year. Atletico Ottawa managed to get back into the top three as they finished in third place on 44 points, winning 11, drawing 11, and only losing 6 matches. And yes, their season was a bit of a tale of two halves, starting off incredibly well and finishing with a bit of a stutter step. But also, they score goals for fun, having 42 goals scored and allowing 31. But they did lose their top goal scorer, who finished on 11 goals in Ruben Del Campo. But this side had a successful season, in my opinion. Broke into that stronghold of the CPL top 2 and top 3. And I truly believe this league has now become a Canadian Premier League top 3 league. And the top 3 in this side and in this league are going to be very hard to break into in the next few years. I truly believe that. And with Atletico Ottawa changing manager, improving their squad, this side will only look to improve in 2025. But in 2024, in the playoffs, they did extremely well. That first game in the playoffs against York United arguably is one of the best games in Canadian Premier League history, as they went toe-to-toe with York United in an electrifying match that went the distance. It went all the way to penalties after an electrifying extra time. Atletico Ottawa came out on top against York United in a very exciting match that had absolutely everything in it. And then Atletico Ottawa advanced to the next round against another Ontario side in Forge FC and could not get the job done. And that was where their season ended. And for some people, like I said, it was a disappointment. It was a failure for this so-called super team. But I hardly and very much disagree with that statement. It was a big change. It was a big shift for Atletico Ottawa. Brought in a lot of big names, a lot of key players, a lot of notable names at the heights of their careers throughout the CPL, and expected them all to gel together and have chemistry straight away. And it was very impressive for the manager Carlos Gonzalez to go and make this team a third place team with so much new names, so much new faces, and so much big talented players. And he did that very well. And what I think is very exciting and very successful for Atletico Ottawa is now they've built on that and had a very good offseason and also changed their manager. And as much as we want to reflect and review 2024, they have a new tactical outlook and a new system under their new manager and Diego Maia. And I apologize if I got that name wrong, but Diego steps in as the new manager, taking over for Carlos Gonzalez. And what Atletico Ottawa did in 2024 was have a very solid defensive block and defend very well and not make mistakes. And what they're going to do under Diego now, and he's already come out saying this, is he wants to play on the front foot. He wants to be the aggressor. He wants to take the ball and dominate possession and take the game to the opposition. And I think that's very exciting because for the team that's been built under Atletico Ottawa, it is perfect for that style of play. And that system, that tactical outlook, if it translates, if it plays the way the new manager wants it to, Atletico Ottawa are only going to improve in 2025. And I truly believe they're going to be alongside Cavalry and Forge. And this league is going to be a Canadian Premier League top 3. As we call the Premier League is a top 5 or whatever, the CPL is going to become a top 3 contingent of very strong teams. They all now have very good managers if it works out for Atletico Ottawa with their manager. They all have very deep squads with very good talent at the top end and some crucial key young players as well. I truly believe Atletico Ottawa, if they build on 2024 like I expect them to, it will become a top 3 contingent within the Canadian Premier League with Atletico Ottawa, Forge FC, and the likes of Cavalry. But their offseason is one thing that I'm very excited about. They had a lot of key players leave Atletico Ottawa, so I can understand if supporters are a bit nervous about that. That is the one thing that scares me about this Atletico Ottawa side, is the amount of players, and not just key players, but important players that have left Atletico Ottawa. and we'll ring through them because the important ones are the likes of Ryan Yesley, a goalkeeper who is one of the best in the CPL. You have in the back line Matteo Di Brienne, heads off to European football, a young, exciting Canadian left back who has a lot of potential, but they brought in a good fee for him as well, which was very important. Some other depth names along the back line, but also losing the likes of Luke Singh and Maxime Tissot, who are very important losses, I truly believe. Moving into the midfield, losing a huge player and a key player in the face of Atlético Ottawa in Ollie Bassett. A big loss and a big time loss to that midfield for Atlético Ottawa. And the new system, new change in tactical outlook, and the front foot forward minded thinking of Diego Maia will be a big loss for Ollie Bassett leaving because he would have worked perfect in the new system. But the two key losses I truly believe to this team are up front. And Chris Twardek, a winger who is from Ottawa, he came back just a year ago to this so-called super team and leaves the club just a year after joining, which is a big loss and a very unfortunate one for Atlético Ottawa. But the biggest loss is Ruben Del Campo, their leading goal scorer last season on 11 goals, and a huge part of their success last season. But I truly believe they've done very well at replacing their goals, not just in one player, but across a few players and a few signings. Because the players coming in for Atlético Ottawa are very exciting. Not just depth-wise, but looking at the key players, my favorite one is Noah Abotne, a 20-year-old Canadian center back who's proven in the league, has a lot of potential, and his ceiling is very high, and arguably could be one of those signings that moves to Europe and puts himself in the shop window while playing in the Canadian Premier League and could become a Matteo Di Brienne type of player who gets that chance in European football off the back of a successful season in the CPL. Another player who joins them is a player who's very highly rated, very highly thought about in the Canadian footballing realm, and that is Sergei Kozlovsky. And I might have butchered that name, and I truly apologize if I do, but he is a left back from CF Montreal's academy who's only 16 years old. And this is a very exciting one. Thought about as the next big thing in CF Montreal's academy, a left back who's only 16, a Canadian academy player, and this is a big signing. And he wanted first team football. He left CF Montreal in the looks of first team football and finds it in the CPL with Atlético Ottawa. It's a very exciting signing for me and could be a Matteo Di Brienne replacement, but he also gets to learn behind Brett Levi, who comes in to join Atlético Ottawa this offseason as well, and is a huge player with a lot of experience, know-how throughout Canadian football at all levels. Moving on to the midfield, they did very well at addressing depth-wise, bringing in some players from affiliate clubs, from Mexican connections in Juan Castro, Kevin Ortega, David Rodriguez. As well, what I'm very excited for is their forward signings. Baloo Tabla, of course, came back, and Monty Patterson, a New Zealand international who scores goals, who can do it from the wing, and is a very exciting player to bring in. And one thing with this squad is it has talent all over. And just doesn't have talent, it has depth as well, which is one thing I love about this Atlético Ottawa side. When you're looking at the team, when you're looking at their first team, their key players, you have the experienced goalkeeper Nate Ingham. You have a very exciting backline in Amir Didic alongside Noah Botnay, one CPL proven veteran alongside a talented young Canadian center back. You have Kozlovsky, who's going to be learning behind Brett Levi and possibly starting. A talented midfield filled with loads of depth, and a front three that, if firing on their day, if getting the best from this manager, could elevate them to first place. With Sam Salter, who now gets the reins to be the number one striker, with the leaving of Ruben Del Campo, you have Baloo Tabla and Monty Patterson. And I absolutely love that front three. And if Atlético Ottawa fans are worried about losing so much goals in Ruben Del Campo, you just have to remember it's been addressed with Monty Patterson, but it's not just addressed in one player. It'll be filled out between midfield signings and that front three, which is very electric and exciting. But like I said, that top three contingent in the CPL can only be built on. And I think Atlético Ottawa are going to firmly place themselves as one of the top three in the CPL in 2025, and I have them finishing in third place. But I really believe between Cavalry, Forge, and Atlético Ottawa, anybody could finish in first place. And the CPL playoffs could be very interesting between all three of those teams, with all very good managers to be decided between the new Atlético Ottawa managers. All very good squads, all very deep squads, young talent, filtered with top key players. But I have Atlético Ottawa finishing in third place. And for me, to wrap it up, I'll say my standout player will be Monty Patterson, the New Zealand international. And alongside that, my young player of the year, my breakout star, will be Sergei Kozlovsky. Guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I know I have a loyal subscriber who's a die-hard Atlético Ottawa fan. I really appreciate his support on the channel. I appreciate all your guys' support. So make sure to slap that like button. It really helps out the video as well as the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. The support on the CPL previews has been incredible, and I really appreciate if you made it this far as well. Hit that sub button. Let's continue to move to 600 subscribers. I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.